Good morning. It is 7:30 on a Friday, and we are done believing. I'm done believing, simply believing the truth, and I'm moving straight towards knowing the truth, all for the purpose of overcoming my own delusions. And the spiritual battle is in the mind, the delusions of the mind. The way you overcome it, get out of your imagination. Realize you're not your thoughts. You're not creating your own thoughts. They're not yours. They're coming from an outside source. And what did Jesus tell us to do? Take every single thought captive. Another way to say that, doubt every single one of those thoughts. They're not yours. Just watch them and don't buy into them. You start living in your imagination, you're going to be stressed out, freaked out, overworked, you name it. Hey, real quick, I was looking at my hair and I feel like I look like the fourth brother of the Bee Gees. The one that wanted to be in the band, but they were like, yeah, let's have some band auditions for the fourth brother over here. Yeah, he's got the hair, but does he have the voice? And here's the audition. It's like, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a ladies' man, no time to talk. Staying alive. And they're like, yeah, I appreciate you, man. Not really the direction that we wanted to go. So there you go. That's what I thought. I was plugging in. I was getting stuff set up. I looked at my hair and I'm like, I wonder if the Bee Gees did have a fourth brother that they just kicked out of the band. Because he probably looked like me. But I got the hair. Also, I was talking about this earlier in the week. I got my medal here to prove to all the doubters out there that as of the year 2021, I was the fastest 40-year-old in the city of Conroe, Texas. There it is. And that's why I don't have to run ever again in my life. No more running. I'm too old for that crap. Let's get right to it. The name of the video today. Oh, also, you can get involved in the captions, or I'm sorry, in the chat. If you leave a comment, I will get to it live. Also, I'll look at the comments in the replay as well. So feel free, get involved however much you want. It is a live show. Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. Streaming on all kinds of platforms. Facebook, what's that one? Twitter. Yeah, it's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. Check this out. Number one problem in America. You've been told by whatever media outlet that it's the infamous them. It's they. It's the Democrats. It's the Republicans. It's the conservative. It's fill in the blank. It's not enough guns. It's too much guns. It's not enough control. It's lack of control. Whatever. It's oil prices. It's Putin. Putin is everywhere. Putin is to blame for everything. He's sneaking around, according to Joe Biden, our president. It's Putin all the time. All that is fake, and I'm glad you came here because all that's fake, and I've got the real answers for you. Just some guy in Conroe, Texas has all the answers. Out of control parents is the number one problem with our society today. Weak parents that are not protecting the children. They're not an example for the children. They're weak. They're pathetic. They're not bringing up the next generation. They're not protecting the kids from the outside world. And if they are, they're sheltering them for 18 years of their life. And then all of a sudden the kid goes off to college or gets a job and it's like, boom, their mind gets blown because of the real world. They're not prepared. They're naive. It is a mess. So the parents, they're weak. And I have proof today. Stick with me. You're going to want to see the proof I've got. I'm not just making this crap up. Also, number one problem, the weak parents and the lack of forgiveness. People, there's no hope for the group. The world itself, the groups, the infamous them, as I just said. All these people uniting together, better together, join us, do this, blah, blah, blah. If you're looking to other people to validate you, you're going to get led astray. There's no hope for the group. There is hope, however, for the individual. God, he is a personal God that saves individuals who come and knock at the door. And he lives inside the individual. He doesn't live in groups. He's not with the Catholics. He's not with the Buddhists. He's not with all these other groups. He's with the individual, the one who seeks and finds. There's no hope for these people. The problem, the lack of forgiveness. You got to go and forgive so that you can get out of your delusion. I'm telling you this now. There's so much power that has been given to the children of God, those who have been born again. I'm not saying all people. We're all God's children. No. God created everything. He created he created an earthworm, a dirty earthworm crawling around in the mud and dirt. He created cockroaches. You saying that cockroaches are children of God, God's children? They're not. He created all this, but somebody came along and stole all his children away. The devil, the enemy, came and stole the children. They're illegitimate children now. We are born into a world where we are illegitimate children of Satan. And only those who seek to understand forgiveness will come out of that and be born again. You're going to be judged on your capacity to forgive. To receive forgiveness, that means trust God and stop trying to save yourself, and also extend forgiveness to others. If you cannot forgive your brother who's done you wrong, you're not going to make it into the kingdom of heaven. That's what Jesus said. He said it as clear as day. And Jesus came to take away the sins. So now, the sins of the world. And so now it's about forgiveness. Are you capable of receiving God's forgiveness for your sins? How can you hold something against somebody else? And the number one person, or the number one group of people that is not being forgiven in America, in the world, are parents. The parents. And if you got unforgiveness towards your parents, they're mucking your life up. I got proof right here. Check this out.
Probably a nice little boy just like you, and then his dad messed his mind up. Now look at him. Hey, buddy, who won the Jets game, you know? Who cares? Let it go, pal. He can't control you anymore.
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you're a loser.
You're mad at your dad, not at me. I forgive you.
I am. I hate my father.
There's so much truth in that stupid, dumb Adam Sandler movie. So much truth to that. You're walking around angry. You're carrying around anger, and you're making a vow to yourself. I'm not going to be like my parents. My parents screwed me up. I'm not going to make those mistakes. You have resentment. You have resentment. And God gave the children, his children, those who have been born again, the power to forgive. Says it. Jesus pissed off a bunch of people by forgiving somebody of their sins because they couldn't wrap their mind around it. They couldn't wrap their mind around it. They don't know a damn thing about forgiveness because they've never done it before. And so if you've never done it, how could you receive it? But that's it right there. People walking around mad at their parents. You got to go face to face with your parents. Maybe not. I mean, maybe you had a good relationship with your parents. Maybe you already have. Maybe that was part of your relationship where you talked about things, you didn't sweep things under the rug, and you didn't resent. You have no resentment. But the vast majority of people right now, alive today, all around the world, they have resentment towards their parents. It's a fact. It is a fact. You got to go face to face to your parents and say, hey, I resent you. I'll tell you about what I did. I didn't think I had any resentment towards my own father. He was a good dad. I didn't think I had any problems with my parents. But then one day I realized, there's things about my dad that I'm like, oh, I don't like that about him. Or he's like this and he's like that. And I'm going to make sure I'm not like dad. And then the Lord showed me that is resentment. When you decide that you're not going to be like your dad, and he's talking to me, when you decide that you're not going to be like your dad, you're resenting your dad. You're judging him. And you're not the judge, Preston. And when I realized that, I was like, well, I better forgive my dad. So I tried to do it in my heart. I was like, I'm just going to forgive him in my heart. And it didn't work. That doesn't do nothing. I went face to face with him and said, Dad, this is what I've been doing. I've been judging you. I didn't even realize it. God showed it to me. And now I just want to tell you to your face, I'm sorry for doing that to you. And that's the way I forgave my dad. I'm sorry for holding things against you, Dad, that you can't really help. It's just you being yourself or whatever. It's either you being weak, things that you're dealing with, and I'm judging you because you're dealing with stuff, or I'm judging you because of your personality. It doesn't matter how you slice it. I had resentment towards my dad. And until you go face to face and forgive, you're going to be a slave to that resentment. You're going to be walking around like this guy, dressed in black, pissed off at everybody, pissed off at the world. And hopefully some Adam Sandler will love you enough to say, hey, you're not mad at me. You're mad at your dad. It's a problem within your own mind. The spiritual battle's within you. It's not within me. It's your fault, dude. You go fix it. It's your fault. Let's keep going. How can you be weak? How can you be afraid? That's what I was going to say. How can you be so afraid to just go and have a conversation with your parents? I know, because I don't want to hurt my dad's feelings. I made all these excuses. I want to be nice. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to offend my dad. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to hurt his feelings. And I realized those are excuses. You're just being weak. Stop being weak and go be a man, be a strong woman, and go tell the person to their face. Say, hey, this is what I've been doing. I'm sorry for resenting you. I see that you couldn't help yourself. You have your own issues. You had your own screwed up parents. And the parents are mucking everything up. How can you be afraid? How can you be honest with friends who are just friends, but lie to your own family? And everybody's like, oh, family's the most important. Blood's thicker than water. All this other garbage. Excuse me. How can you do that? The parents are messing things up. I got more proof right here. Here we go. This is from Story Hour. Some kind of gay pride story hour event happening. This is proof, what I'm about to show you, that the fear of the parents are traumatizing the next generation. They're taking them to all this stuff. They're polluting their minds with all this garbage from the world and telling them it's perfectly normal. It's perfectly normal. It's not normal to go to, I'm sorry. Let me give some context. I apologize. This is a gay pride story hour, drag queen story hour, which seems to be super popular right now. Everybody and their brother is taking their kid to some kind of story hour. I've seen churches doing it, people taking their kids to bars, but this is one. And thank God, some true Americans, true men, and some women thrown in there, showed up to protect these children, to do the work of the parents. This group that showed up, they were doing what the parents should be doing. You don't take little kids to these story hours and let these wacko drag queens read to them. What is the point of that? What is the point of having a man dressed like a woman read your kid a story? That makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. And watch the clip.
Unsafe though.
A Pride Storytime event at Pine Valley Library on Tuesday started peacefully, but parents say it quickly turned chaotic and filled them with fear when a handful of Proud Boys showed up in the window of their event room.
And they're doing that on purpose, for sure, to intimidate people.
Emily Jones was inside with her 1-year-old daughter. She takes her daughter to these storytime events often and was especially excited for this one, but her excitement quickly turned to panic.
But when a group of known violent people, and at that point, when those people show up and they're coming into the library and trying to disrupt the story time, that's when I felt unsafe.
The New Hanover County Sheriff's Office had deputies at the event to prevent the Proud Boys from entering the room. Angie Caney was in the hallway when the Proud Boys walked in, and she says the group was loud and disruptive. But in a statement, the Sheriff's Office says there was no disturbance.
They were yelling obscenities about how their tax money was being spent on pornography and drag queens. There was shouting, it was loud. Their attempt was to intimidate and create a disruption. And that's exactly what they did.
They definitely disturbed us.
The sheriff's office added because it's a public place, there was no need for the Proud Boys to be removed.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff's Office. No need for the Proud Boys to be removed because it's public. Very nice. And you're being told, oh, these Proud Boys, they're allowed. You're being told by a nasty, greasy-headed, whatever woman with the dumb-looking fat woman on there who's like, oh, they were shouting and they were loud. That's the point. They're upset that a mother, this scared little fragile mother on here, is taking her 1-year-old. 1-year-old can't even understand the story being read to her. It, him, her, I don't know what the gender of the child was. This mom cares more about looking good and being relevant and being trendy than she does her own child. It's sick, man. It's sick. And this, you can't blame this mom. She's weak and she's not protecting her child. So the Proud Boys have to show up and try to shut that crap down. And they're not going to physically they didn't physically try to shut it down. They were just going to be loud and obnoxious and distracting. Good for you, Proud Boys. And we're being told all the time, oh, the Proud Boys are a far-right racist organization. They're racist. Really? They're a hate group. These were white people yelling and screaming at other white people. Meanwhile, we got Black Lives Matter collecting all this money, buying houses for themselves, ripping people off, burning down cities, all in the name of George Floyd. It's a mess. It is a mess. And these weak mothers, weak parents, they care more about being accepted than they do protecting their own kids. I don't want people to think I'm mean. It's not very Christ-like to raise your voice. Really? Well, what was Jesus doing? He was flipping over tables. He cared more about the souls of the people of his generation than he did about even his own life. These weak parents, they're not protecting their children. So other groups got to come along and shut that crap down. And the sheriff was right. It's a public place. It's a public place. And there were more than just these Proud Boys. There were other parents out there shutting that crap down. You don't need to take a child to see a drag queen. This is a guy in drag. This is a guy in a dress pretending to be a woman. And it's not just to be funny. It's with like big giant fake boobs and a big giant fake butt and all this gaudy makeup. It's everything that feminists should be saying, hey, that doesn't represent women, but yet where are the feminists? When these drag queens come out there and do all this stuff. You can't blame these weak, pathetic parents because they haven't gone back forgiving their parents. They themselves haven't done it. And so they're going to raise the next generation with the same spirit, the spirit of resentment. And it goes far. Check out J-Lo. J-Lo is now saying that her mom used to beat her, blaming mom. And J-Lo just came out on stage or whatever with this tranny daughter or son or whatever the hell it is. Just look at Hollywood. Look at all the social elites right now. Look at them. You got J-Lo on stage with some kid that doesn't know their gender. You got, and this is very strange to me. It's very strange. Will Smith has got a weird cross-dressing child. Elon Musk's son or daughter or whatever it is. Pissed off at its dad. Is it a girl or a guy? I can't remember. Somebody tell me in the comments. Elon Musk's kid, child of divorce, not even going to call it divorce, is a destroyed family. Elon Musk's child is out there, I'm a different sex and I'm going to change my name. I don't want anything to do with my dad. It's crazy. That kid, he's going to be walking around like the clip I showed a second ago. He's going to be walking around mad and angry at the world. But deep down inside, he's really longing for his dad because he hasn't gone and forgiven his earthly father and gotten his life together and fought the spiritual battle within. And these people, they want to say, I have a video, but I don't know if I'm going to get to it about J-Lo. Her mom beating her growing up. And the mom was like, I just wanted to protect these kids and protect my daughter and tell her that she could do it on her own, all this other crap. But it's just amazing to me. I'm sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. It's just amazing to me that in the elites, there's so many transgendered people in the children of the elites. Basically, people who have sold out. The world and their image and their recognition is more important than their own children. They care more about their image and their career than their own kids. And J-Lo, in the video I was going to show it, I don't have time. She goes on blaming her mom for beating her and all this other stuff. It's like, J-Lo, you don't see that you are becoming your mom? You are traumatizing your child in the same way that your mother traumatized you. You haven't forgiven your mother. You're making excuses for your mom. Well, she was a single mom. She had to do this. She was just trying to teach us. You're making excuses for your mother because you're scared of your mom still. And now you're traumatizing your child. It's the darndest thing. You're traumatizing your child. And now your child is going to grow up making excuses for you. And it's a generational curse. Generation after generation, moving on and on and on. And these Christian groups, so-called Christian groups, they can claim that, oh, well, we got to be loving and affirming. There's so many churches right now that are like loving and affirming of the gay LGBTQ stuff. It's nuts. But these LGBTQ people, they don't know the first thing. They're pure evil. And the proof of that, they're pure evil. They don't know anything about forgiveness. And what did Jesus say? You're going to be judged on your capacity to forgive. If you can't forgive, you're not going to enter the kingdom of heaven. And the LGBTQ community, they don't know a damn thing about forgiveness. They're not forgiving their parents. They're not being an example for their children. Like the mom in the video I just showed. Take your kid to a gay pride reading. And then some other parents show up and start making noises. And instead of saying, well, you know what? That's their right. They can do that. Let's go someplace else and have our gay pride read. What do? They run to the media and they start accusing. Oh, this hate group showed up. This, that, and the other. Well, forgive them. And I was so afraid. They were intimidating us and I just didn't know. They weren't touching you. They weren't doing anything. They were just being loud. It's a shame. It is a damn shame. But this pride community that says that they love is love. We accept everybody. No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't accept people like me on Facebook. When I put a comment, they banned me for 28 days. Facebook does. They don't accept, what's that comedian's name? What's his name? Dave Chappelle. They try to cancel anybody who speaks against them. If they were loving and accepting, they'd say, you know what? That's just the non-trans people being non-trans. Nothing we can do about them. They would forgive us. They would forgive us for the things we say. They would forgive the Proud Boys for showing up and interrupting their gay reading. They would have forgiveness, but they don't. They have zero forgiveness. And that's proof right there. They're evil. They're evil. And all they want to do is mess up the next generation. They have no choice in the matter, because anybody who's still in their delusion of unforgiveness, who's afraid to go and forgive, they're of fear. They're of Satan. They're evil because they have not forgiven. And if you can't go and forgive somebody, you can't receive God's forgiveness. You don't know the first thing about forgiveness. And before we start arguing about theology and Jesus, well, I'm gay and I admit that Jesus, I can see that Jesus is the Son of God and I got all my doctrine and theology straight. It's so simple. It'll make your head spin. Do you have forgiveness? Have you accepted it? Can you go and give forgiveness to other people now? Can you go and do likewise? It's that simple. That's the litmus test. It's not what kind of doctrine do you have. It's not what religion you are. It's what's your forgiveness look like? You still have resentment? Are you afraid to just go and tell somebody that you forgive them? Are you running around in fear? Are you doing the same things to your kids? Are you resenting your parents, trying to be better than your parents because my parents made these mistakes and I'm not going to do to my kids what my parents did to me? Guess what? If that's your attitude, you're going to screw your kids up. You're going to traumatize them. If you're alive and well right now and you're hearing what I'm saying, go and forgive. Go and be alone with God. Just sit, and he will begin to show you where your resentment lies. And if you have it, if you don't have it, then you're on your way. Good news. But you go and you start to be alone with your thoughts, and you work on your personal relationship with God. He'll show you. He did me. The first thing I did before I went and forgave my dad and confessed my own resentment to my dad, the first thing I did, I got alone with the Father, and then he began to show me, Preston, you're not really mad. You're not really depressed. You're not really all this other stuff. Just like the Adam Sandler clip I showed. You have resentment towards your dad. You're really mad at your dad, and you haven't gone and dealt with that. How can Christians learn to endure all things, be the example to the world, if they're too afraid to go and forgive their own parents? And the parents, they're not perfect. They are also raised by messed up parents. They got no choice in the matter. J-Lo and this other woman with the pride reading and all this other stuff, they have no choice in the matter. I'm just gonna show the one little clip, J-Lo.
Jennifer Lopez is looking back on her childhood. In J-Lo's new Netflix documentary, Halftime, the Hustlers actress reflected on her relationship with her mother, Lupe, claiming the matriarch used to, quote, beat her when she was little.
Yeah, I'm just going to end it right there. That's all. That's the best part of the video right there. Still to this day, she's making money off the mistakes of her mother. She cares more about the money than her own mom. Mom, you were hard on me. You went over the top. You lost control on me, but I forgive you. I forgive you for doing that. I realize that your parents probably mucked you up too. That's how we stop this. That's the biggest problem facing society as a whole all around the world, is weak parents who are too afraid to go and forgive, and then they teach their children likewise. It's that simple. Go and forgive. And especially if you call yourself a Christian, the children of God have the authority to go and forgive. And if you're not doing that, I'm just going to forgive him in my heart, you're weak and you're afraid. You're afraid. Imagine that. Imagine I open a bank account with your name on it, and I put $1 million in there, and I don't tell you. And then 10 years goes by, and then I catch up with you and I say, hey, what are you doing with that $1 million I gave you? What do you think your answer is going to be? What $1 million? What are you talking about? Wouldn't the $1 million change somebody's life in an amazing way? Yes, it would. So how in the hell am I going to open a bank, put $1 million in there, and then not tell you about it? That's what you're doing if you're going around, well, I already forgave my parents and my mom, in my heart, and you're making excuses. Well, I don't really want to hurt my mom's feelings. My mom tried her best. Guess what? Your best isn't good enough. Nobody's best is good enough. That's why you need a savior. If you could do it yourself, God would just be waiting on us to get our act together. But you can't do it yourself. You need to respond to the conviction of the Holy Spirit, trust him, move forward, and then your life will be fine. Just trust the Holy Spirit. And when he directs you to go and forgive, you go to the person, you tell them to their face, you're forgiven. I'm sorry I've been resenting you. It's not right for me to hold these things against you. Boom. That person's set free. Not even God is going to judge them for the things that they did against you. Why? Because you forgive them. It's done. It's over. Now it's on that person. What's their capacity to receive the forgiveness? Are they going to let their ego get in the way and say, "What? I don't need you forgiving me. I did the best I could." It's pathetic, but it's all over the place, and it's so normal, and it's so strange that in Hollywood, J-Lo, Will Smith, who's that other one? I had a list. I didn't have time to get to it. Tons of movie stars with trans kids. It's just so strange that anywhere where a parent's ego is bigger than their love, all of a sudden there's trannyism there. Go figure. But the solution, We got to go forgive. You guys have a great one. We'll see you back on Monday, 7:30. We went long today. Try to keep it short, but just had some things to say. Have a great one.